We spend so much time and energy talking about how to build and launch AI. But what happens the day after it goes live? Well, that's when the real journey begins. So today, we're diving into the critical and, frankly, often overlooked world of post-launch AI governance.
And just so you know where all this great info is coming from, this explainer is based on Chapter 8 of the tutorial on developing an AI governance program by Virtualization Options LLC. We're breaking down their key ideas for you right here.
All right, so imagine this. Your team finally did it. The AI model is deployed, it's out in the wild, and it's working. High fives all around, right? Time to pop the champagne? Well, hold on a second. Here's the real question we need to ask. Is the job actually done? And while it's so tempting to say yes and move on, the answer is a big, resounding no.
So here's our game plan. First, we're going to talk about why every AI needs a long-term guardian. Then, we'll look at the monitoring framework, the Guardian's toolkit, if you will. We'll check out the vital signs you have to track, walk through the playbook for audits, and finally, we'll get into how to handle the crazy, ever-changing world of regulations.
First things first, we've got to talk about a pretty fundamental shift in how we think. It's all about moving away from that launch and leave mentality to embracing this idea of being a long-term guardian for our AI systems. And this really hits the nail on the head. On one side, you have the launch mindset, which basically sees deployment day as the finish line. But the guardian mindset, that's where we need to be. It knows that launch day is the starting line. And AI isn't a static thing. Data drifts, the world changes, and its performance can degrade. The guardian's job is to keep it healthy and effective for the long haul.
Okay, so if we need a guardian, what kind of tools are they using? What does their setup look like? Well, that brings us right to the monitoring framework. This is the system, the structure for keeping a constant watch. Think of a monitoring framework as your AI's command center. It's not just one piece of software, but a whole collection of tools and processes, all designed to give you a clear view of what's going on. And it really has two main jobs. First, make sure the AI is actually performing the way it's supposed to. And second, make sure all those governance policies we wrote are actually being followed and are, working in the real world.
Now, this command center isn't just one thing, right? It's got layers. You've got your automated systems that are basically on patrol 24/7. Then you have periodic reviews. Think of these like regular health checkups for the AI. You've also got audits where you bring in fresh eyes to do a deep dive. And the most important part? All of these findings get plugged back into a feedback loop, so the whole system keeps getting smarter and safer over time.
Okay, so we have our framework in place, but what are we actually looking at? What are we measuring? Let's talk about the specific vital signs that our AI Guardian needs to be tracking constantly.
I love how this table breaks it down because it shows you can't just look at one thing. You need a complete picture. You have process metrics, which tell you if your governance operations are running smoothly. Then you have the obvious one, performance metrics, for things like accuracy and fairness. And then you have risk metrics, which give you a high-level view of your compliance posture. You need all three to get a true health report for your AI. All right, now we're getting into the how. How does this Guardian actually check that the rules are being followed? This is where the compliance audit process comes in. You can think of it as the official playbook for verification. And this isn't just some random spot check. It's a really structured cycle. It all starts with planning, where you figure out what you're even looking at. Then you move into evidence collection, gathering up all the data and docs. In the analysis phase, you compare what you found to what should be happening. That leads to a formal report, which then leads to a remediation plan to fix what's broken. And this is so important. You always follow up to make sure the fixes actually worked. It's a closed-loop system designed for constant improvement. The last piece of this puzzle involves looking outward, because it's not just about your own internal rules. You have to navigate the incredibly complex and constantly shifting world of external regulations. The name of the game here is being proactive, not reactive. You need what's called regulatory intelligence. You're always scanning the horizon for new laws. You're doing gap assessments to see how your current setup stacks up against new rules. And you're documenting everything so you can prove you're compliant. It's not about waiting for a scary letter from a regulator. It's about staying ahead of the curve. This brings us to what I think is maybe the most powerful idea in this whole discussion. Monitoring isn't just about catching people doing something wrong or enforcing rules. It's a learning tool. Every alert, every audit finding, that's a signal. It's a chance to learn, to understand your systems better, and ultimately to make them stronger. So I want to leave you with this one question to take back to your teams. Look at what you're doing right now and ask, is your governance program actually learning? Is it evolving? Or is it just about checking boxes on a list? Because honestly, the answer to that question is going to define the future of responsible AI in your organization.